Hi, it's Lydia Nitya Griffith with Karma Chameleon, bringing you BaZi Chinese astrology readings of the celebrities of our world and Feng Shui information as well. And today we're talking about Shannon Doherty and her recent announcement that her cancer has not only returned as stage 4 breast cancer, it is now spread to her brain. And many of us watched 90210. It was a really fun show at the time, and I was so sad to hear this news. It just feels like a very difficult prognosis, and I would imagine for her it's a very scary time because she's so young. She's born April 12th, 1971 at 1616. And her chart looks like this. The year, and we remember the 4 pillars. BaZi Chinese astrology looks at the 4 pillars, which are the year, yin metal, pig, and the month of yang, water, dragon, the day of yin, fire, rabbit, and the hour of yang, earth, monkey. And I want to mention here, for anyone that was following me last year, the year of the tiger, where we had so many astrology readings involving the punishment or penalty of the snake, the tiger, and the monkey, tiger, snake. So her life pillar, which is a hidden aspect of our charts. It's not something that most astrologers offer. And it gives the secret kind of background of why you're here. What is the overarching theme of this life for you? And for her, this is a yin water snake. Now that snake with the monkey is a piece of the mystery that we begin to want to solve when a problem arises, right? So we can look at BaZi astrology and we can figure out why someone died, why someone had a car accident, why someone got divorced when they did, why someone got married when they did, why somebody decided to make a big life change, like a radical move in their life. There are a number of factors at play. I don't know if any one answers the question of why she's sick and dying. But I will say this: a soul journey can get tired of the fight. Okay? And when you have multiple things happening, like for instance, if I went to her house, I would want to know the feng shui of her house to see if it is exacerbating this problem, easing the problem, if there were little tiny things that I could do in her home to support her towards sustaining some measure of health, right? The worst situation, honestly, is when you have a condition like cancer, like unemployment, something that is really a huge stress, or a divorce, right? And in addition to that, you have a complicated feng shui situation in your home. Okay. And it sometimes can put you in a position where you feel very out of control and very much like things are just falling apart around you and you can't figure out why. So I always like to start, if it's possible, with somebody's feng shui, because it's something that's tangible. We can manipulate things. We can move things around. We can get you into a different room to sleep. We can maybe alter what door you're using or what room you're working from, right? So when we look at her chart, I quickly see that there are 2 harms happening in her 4 pillars. So this shows that this is a chart of somebody that is complicated. the pig and the monkey harm each other and weaken metal. Metal is her money, okay? So this could suggest an instability with her finances. All right. The other one is that her rabbit and the month of the dragon are also in a harm, damaging earth, which is her output, her ability to be active, her ability to be productive. So those two components are embedded in her chart. It can limit her ability to sustain motivation with her work, with not so much her like employment, but with what gets her going into a project. And then there's this almost like internal sabotage to a financial outcome, to whatever work she or activity she is engaged in, whatever project she's working on. All right, so let's drop into her luck cycles. And we go through these 10-year luck cycles. And recognizing that her career took off before the one that I'm mentioning here, which is 1988, the ages of 17 to 26. Now, the interesting thing is that sometimes when we have a luck cycle shift, something big happens that year. This was 1988, the year that she had her movie debut in the movie Heathers. This was Yang Wood Fire. And this was a time when she was really stepping into her own. Remember that the horse is yin fire. She is a yin fire person. It was also a time of having a lot of fun with the activities and projects she was involved in. There is a strong mention of her mother. So maybe her mother was involved during this early part of her career. And this is also the time in which she is moving into having her career really take off after that film, The Heathers, and then she got into 90210 and all kinds of other projects. And we look at her Hour of the Monkey, which is a true signature of somebody that's going to have their hands in a lot of different projects, movies, film, other projects, other cool activities. And this is a very creative person, very, very smart. She's actually a very gifted writer. I don't know if that's something she's delved into. She's an organized person. She's kind of somebody who likes to have her ducks in a row, a certain sense of order, right? She's also somebody who makes money, spends money. Again, there's that inconsistency of her financial world. And she's a dreamer. Gotta love that. A dreamer, an idealist, somebody who with her head in the clouds. Also somebody that really is very independent and needs to feel like there is harmony in her life. If things get out of kilter, she really struggles. After all, she's a pig rabbit, man. This is, I've mentioned like Johnny Depp and my own boyfriend are born in the year, have the sheep rabbit combo. This is a little bit more of a party, let's just say, because the pig is all about having fun, kicking up their heels, and loves fashion and really enjoys dressing up and being around friends, and they make friends really easily. They go with the flow of life. And what's a rabbit? Well, rabbits, they can be very moody. And they can also be great negotiators. They are the kind of people that want to take a challenging situation and bring harmony into it. It's very frustrating for a rabbit to be in a situation where there is disharmony, when there is agitation in the environment around them, and they can't resolve it. So And rabbits are pretty passive. They're very laid back. When you observe rabbit energy, they're very tuned into that fight or flight. And they really prefer to be just off on their own, doing their thing. So that's an interesting combination for somebody that's an actress. And an actress, that the element for that career is fire, which is fabulous because she needs it. She's actually weak in her fire. And this is a detriment to the longevity of her life. You always want your own element in your day pillar to be rooted in the animals of the 4 pillars, and that is not the case. Her little fire flame, yin fire, it's like a little lighter at a concert. That's all she's got is her own. And so she's looking for that nourishment, which is balanced. Wood is balanced at 16%. Actually, most of her chart is. Earth is strong, 28%, metal, 23%, water, 22%. And you always want in the 5 elements to have around 25%, 20 to 25% of each element. So you really see here that her fire is weak, and she benefits from having wood. Now, where Cancer shows up, Cancer tends to show up in a chart that's too hot and dry or too cold and damp. And I'm not seeing either one. Now, it could be erring on the side of too dry if Earth were being bolstered. It could become too hot and dry, fire, earth, if there's a lot of wood feeding her fire. So that first luck cycle that we're talking about here is yang, wood, and fire. And those are starting to make conditions for a hot chart, okay? So we're going to move to 1998. She's at the height of 90210. Career is really taken off. This is a yin wood sheep. The sheep at that time gave her a full wood trio of the pig, her rabbit, and this sheep luck cycle. And that big surge of wood is really nourishing her fire. And this was a time of getting support from outside resources. It could have also been a time of great learning and a spiritual awakening, of being greatly inspired in life. She's engaged again in these projects that are coming out more and more. She's very active and enjoying what she's doing, loves what she's doing. She feels strong in herself. So this was a great time for her. The earth energy is what's motivating her, keeping her active. That wood is supporting her. Interestingly enough, her career is taking off, and the element that is her career, water, isn't even mentioned yet. This really shows that the impetus of her work wasn't the work itself. It was the action. It's like what she was doing, not for who, right? And that's an interesting thing. If you are, let's say, a farmer, you're not really concerned with, or that's probably not a good example. I'm living out in the country. But if you're an accountant, you're enjoying accounting, right? You aren't necessarily focused on the paycheck. You're not focused on the accounting firm you even work for. You just love adding numbers and doing that work. Yeah. Anyway, so then we come to 2008. I think I've said everything about, yes. So 2008, she moves into a yang fire monkey. And this is bringing a lot of fire, and This is that turn of events where now all of a sudden she is starting to see herself in a new light, playing new roles, characters, personas, different circle of friends even. And the monkey here is a direct mirroring of her own hour of the monkey. So now we're really looking at money coming in. This is a big surge of revenue. Now we start to see that there is also a focus on that career, and that there is change happening with her career. And also there is something going on with marriages, relationships. Now I know that she had a number of very short-lived, explosive relationships. She just recently ended one of her longest relationships. One of the reasons why there can be inconsistency in relationships is when you have a void that shows up in your day pillar, which is the case for her. Both tiger and rabbit are her void animals. Now, voids are kind of funky. A lot of people get like, what is this? What does it mean? It's basically when life is going to deliver the hardest lessons and slow things down and take you to the edge of what you think you can handle in the area that void is sitting. For her, this void sitting in her day pillar is really challenging her ability to have a long-term romance that sticks. Okay. And you add to that in 2022, when she filed for divorce, it was a tiger year. So it's a void year. This year is the year of the rabbit, is a void year for her. So this is what I mean by a chart that feels like it's got too many things going against it. She's born with two harms, right? Which are tanking her ability to sustain consistent revenue, manage that money. It's also inconsistency with her ability to stay motivated to do things. And then you've got this period where she is now in 2008, 90210 is over. There's a lot of changeable things going on in her life, but money is finally surging in. So then, we're looking at what is going on then with her health, right? So yeah, so now we're moving into a yin fire rooster. Okay, and so things are now really shifting. The focus is very much on her, very much on her, and very much on money that's coming in from outside resources. Things are also shifting as far as looking at the fact that in 2022, when the Cancer returned, it was a tiger year. And that tiger combining with her hidden life pillar of the snake, her hour of the monkey, is giving her this weakness around her health. It's a greater chance in that time to die, to have accidents, to have lawsuits, to have poor health. So again, it feels like there is just too much happening coming against her. And also in that year of the tiger, which was last year, is the tiger clashes with the monkey. This is a battle of wood and metal. This is what supports her, what she controls. There's a lot of instability. There's a lot of conflict going on in her chart. And this particular year brings in yin water and yin wood And we've got this challenge going on with her career and changes happening, forces that are working against her. And again, it being a year of the rabbit. Now, she's born on the day of the rabbit. And I will say this, people who are either born, especially on the day, but also the year of the rabbit. What I have seen, you look at Johnny Depp, okay, another person I've talked about in relation to rabbit energy. He's broken his ankle. Jeff Beck died. The guy he was playing on the stage and touring with drops dead. He has had his own really rough year, as I predicted. Bruce Willis, another one. I know other people born on the day or the year of the rabbit going through extraordinary hardship. It is very hard when your day, especially, or your year, matches with the annual animal. It is a total confrontation. It is life banging heads with you, and it will spiral out however it's hitting you, you know? So one of the things that has come to mind for Shannon is this concept that she is learning something. This is about, I think, a deeper spiritual journey that maybe she's not even aware of, but her soul needs to learn something about this crisis that she's in. Yeah. And taking into account that her life pillar says as much, that this is a life that is going to challenge her. It's going to challenge her in her romantic relationships. It's going to challenge her in her work. She is here to be challenged, to face people that are really difficult, cruel, harmful, that slander her. She's also here to learn how to put on masks, play roles. Ultimately, how can you learn who you are if you don't try different roles, right? If you don't try different professions, different relationships can even make you feel, wow, I was such a different person when I was with them, right? And this is also a life for her that feels very much like one that will bring her money and a little bit of a soul revolution. So when we look over at her career of a Yang Earth monkey, we see that this is somebody that's going to make money in their career. And their career is mentioned in that. And at the same time, there's a whole lot of smart, intuitive in her work, and also a total rebel. Somebody that is going to push the envelope of what is expected of me when I show up, right? So this is a really challenging year for her. Next year is the year of the dragon. And it's going to reinforce aspects of this chart that's already there. And there's not always a clear answer, like I said earlier. But what I would say is it feels to me like her chart has just too many harms, punishments, conflicts, things that are working against her. And there is a point where the body begins to fall apart because it just can't sustain so much coming at it. And it creates a lot of instability. You know, if you've ever played a game of Jenga, yeah, you can only move so many pieces before the whole thing starts to feel like it's going to collapse. All right. So to all my monkey friends, or not monkey, my rabbit friends out there, peace out. Go off and enjoy chewing on the clover alone or with really great pieced out friends with you for the rest of this year. It is going to be a ride. And the worst isn't here yet, because September is coming. September is going to be the battle between the rabbit and the rooster. So, stay tuned, friends. Be well. See you soon.